here at 2 p.m. It is now 1:30 p.m. on October 5th, 1997. I am just taking preliminary shots around this nice Grange building here of Warren Grange. Is very large parking lot. People haven't started to arrive yet, but I will go inside. I'm now approaching the registration table. You see they're quite busy here to register guests. Getting close to this, as you can see, it's a framed picture of the charter. I'll bring it up close.
I don't think so. I bet you did too.
Display table here. Various pictures. Ritual Grace number 121. Just scan it, the pictures that are shown here.
You can't use those mirrors. What are they putting?
You know, I have the same car.
Oh, I just got that baby, and I don't want the first when I had my other new one. There wasn't nothing happened to it yet.
That's what you have to pay for today.
I know.
How are you? Yeah. Good to see you. Hot day, right? Yeah. Can you give us a warm rep?
At the second table of exhibits here, shows various certificates, as you can see. Photographs I cannot identify.
Did you want us to sign a guest list too? Yeah, sign the guest list and sign the napkin. Bring that. I signed the napkin, but I didn't put her name on it, I guess. I better put your picture now.
Second prize award, Farmers Fair in 1879. Farmers Fair in 1978, 76. Charter. 26.
Good to see you.
Pictures of some quilts that have been made by the Grange members. This is one in the left front of the stage. It's beautiful. I'll move it a little closer. You can see some of the design. Very, very Grange constructed. There's another one right in front of me. It's laying horizontal, so I can't really take pictures of this too much.
Good.
So,
Right here, it says dated 1897.
I say yes.
And it's what they call a crazy quilt.
Right.
And it also has 1896 on here on another block,
Right.
someplace else. So it must have taken them at least a year to make.
It is beautiful.
The other quilt on the desk is 1898.
1898.
It's the next year.
I'm going to swing around and
it's not quite as bright. It's not the same kind of fabric.
right.
And then the quilt hanging up along the front was the quilt that won an international in 1996.
I see. That's beautiful too. Taking some pictures as Cliff and his mother are arriving.
Feed him sugar and then make him sit through a meeting.
Cliff Overly. Hi, Clifford. More people at the registration desk. Cliff bringing his mother up and seating her. This is Molly Oakley. Did you get a picture inside just prior to the beginning of the meeting? Just to scan the audience, visitors and guests. As I look around. This is from the left side, facing the stage. I'm going to take another shot from the right side. A picture here. They just signed in. Other guests are just coming in. Try to be seated. They're signing in. Lined up the register. This side is the stage.
Anyway, we had I was glad I went home. But there are
Special time to look back and to look ahead. And we're really, really proud to welcome the Southern Warren Junior Grangers. This is a junior Grange that just got started this year, and they have enthusiastic leaders and enthusiastic kids involved. So we're real pleased that they're here to help us celebrate. And the Grange is more than just an agricultural special interest group. It's a community within a community. And it's gone from generation to generation, and yet we're always glad to welcome new members. Stewartsville Grange has worked very hard together. More lately, most of the time at the fair, but we really do work. And we support a lot of good causes in the community. Last year we got second place in the state in the community service. And our members have always a lot of fun together. We wanted, first of all, to write a history that helps us remember the people and the events and the changes that have taken place in the past. So you have that history in your packet. And thanks to the computer, any errors can be corrected and any activities added. It's really marvelous what you can do with a computer today. There is an error under 1922. The dues were 12 cents a month, or $1.44 a year, and they stayed that way for 24 years in Stewartsville. We really did zero inflation. So if there's anything you want me to add or change, if we said something wrong, give me a call and we'll mark it down and I can plug it in. They started the Oddfellows Hall at the Crossroads meeting, and they met every Thursday in 1897. I can imagine that the talk was mostly farming and purchasing supplies, because I cannot possibly think of a lecturer getting a program together every week. So I thought first of all we'd mention the charter members and see if anybody here is related to any of the charter members. A.W. Kinney, None went from A.W. Kinney. John and Ella Cope. Now we do know that Bill Cope and Grace Mosier are descendants. John and Ella were their uncle and aunt. H.A. Godfrey. Isaac S. DeReamer and Annie DeReamer. And we do know that Donald Hawk, Marion's husband, was a nephew of the DeReamers. James Schooley, H.I. Holsizer, George B. Cole, Henry Riley, Caleb Klein, George W. Wolfe, Jesse DeReamer, Mrs. M.L. Rush. How about Charlie? Do you related to M.L. Rush? And Mrs. Julia Mellick. I don't know. Bob's has got a lot of Mellicks in his family, but I don't know whether Julia was one of them. Now, around World War I, the Grange had some hard times. Fewer members and even less meetings. And there were a few years where they didn't meet at all. And they reorganized in 1919. M.L. Rush was the deputy. Any relation to? No? And he brought Harry Apker and Frank and Stella Pearson from Washington Grange to lead us. And I know Roy Dowling is a grandson of the Pearsons. So, and I know we have a lot of people who were related to the people in the reorganization process of it. Anyway, for years they celebrated the reorganization date. So actually Stewartsville is very unique in that we can have 200th anniversary celebrations. We have this one, and we can have a 100th anniversary celebration in the year 2019. And actually part of our 70th year celebration, which Francis Overly ran, was a skit on the future. And I'm sure no one who was there 30 years ago realized the impact of the computer on our world today. I mean, if you go to the grocery store and the computer isn't running, you can't check out. And if you go to the bank to get some money and the computer isn't up and running, you're just stuck. So downstairs for refreshments, you can each predict the future for the year 2019. Write your predictions and your name on the little piece of paper that's downstairs. And if we read your prediction and your name, you'll be a door prize winner. We have decorations for the table that are door prizes. And maybe we can get some parents to help the junior Grangers to write their predictions. And the junior Grangers are learning to sign, and one part of our deaf activities is very much concerned with the deaf people and helping the deaf, and the junior Grangers are doing that by learning to sign. So as we salute the flag, Alyssa Oberly and Nathan Gruenberg are going to sign. Now, do you want them on the stage, or do you want them on the stage? And Rosemary Hine? Good. And they're going to sign. Stephen Gruenberg is going to lead us all in the Star Spangled Banner.
We got to slow it down.
Very slow. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Cindy Bowman, who's also our Pomona Master this time. She's our overseer at Stewartsville, and she's going to introduce our distinguished guests. Now we'd like each of our distinguished guests to come up and sit on the chairs or stand behind the chairs, and we're going to take pictures. That's where we're going to do the introductions. Okay, Cindy?
Going to be Stewartsville Grange members, Deborah and Stephen Gruenberg, who are Lady Assistant Steward and Assistant Steward. You could come up. We also have Paul Rave with us, who is the Acting Director of the Junior Committee on the state level. We have Secretary of the State Executive Committee, Tom Planer. Our Director of the Committee on Women's Activities and also a member of the Board of Directors of the New Jersey Agriculture Museum, Audrey Planer. We have the State Deputy and Master of Moravian Grange, Lyman Lawson. And we also have a gentleman that you see videotaping. He is a member of the Stewartsville Historical Society, Mr. Lloyd Foss. Mr. Foss, if you could come up and
Do the same thing. Have our 50-year members come up and sit, please, or stand. Okay, would the following come forward? Bob Fry, Helen Fry, Marion Hawk, Francis Overly, Cliff Overly, Virginia Hart Smith, and Bob and Eileen Volk. And are there any others here that I missed? Rocky, is that thing working?
Yeah, it worked once.
I tell you.
My brother's not here.
John Slack is going to introduce our past master. Incidentally, John had a very serious accident this year, and we're really glad he's here.
Thank you, Trudy. Robert Volk, 1947. William Coke, 1948. Robert Fry, 1952. Clifford Lynch, 1954. Roy Heritage, 1955 and 1961. Joe Reyna, 1956. Roy Dowling, 1957 and 1962, 1966 to 1967, 1973 to 1979, and 1982 to 1988.
For Roy, we have something special. It says, in appreciation to Roy Dowling for serving 15 years as master of Stewartsville Grange.
Thank you very much.
Kenneth Hoser, 1959 and 92. Charles Rush, 1978 to 1982. John Slack, 1990 to 1992. Bessie Sinclair, 1992 to 1994. Cindy Bowman, 1994 to 1996.
Bessie.
Bessie. Up front. Front center.
You should be in that. Thanks a lot.
Introduce Laney Voorhees. Laney is our
As the other groups have done with the past lecturers, please come forward. Helen Fry, 1932, 1963 to 1965, 1973. Frances Oberly, 1939, 1940, 1949, 1950, 1968 to 1972. Marion Hawk, 1942, 1943, 1955, 1960, 1977. Ruth Beatty Hoser, 1944. Eileen Volk, 1948. 1958. Robert Fry, 1957, 1966. Dorothy Dowling, 1961, 1962. Margaret Geisler, 1967. Charles Rush, 1983. Trudy Fry, 1983 to 1986, 1988 to 1990, 1992 to 1994. Missy Young, 1986 to 1988, and Tricia Hamlin, 1994 to 1996.
Stewartsville Grange to introduce the junior Grange officers.
If all our officers would come forward, as I call, our master is Rachel Overly. Yes, that's it. Our overseer is James Bowman. Our steward is Catherine Bowman. Our assistant steward is Nathan Grunberg. Our lady assistant steward is Alyssa Overly. Our treasurer, Patty Werkheiser. Secretary, Stephanie Santini. Gatekeeper is Josh Overly. Steer is Emily Seagraves, and Pomona is Carly Santini. And our leaders are Stephen and myself, and Tina Santini, who's not with us.
Now, Eileen Volk has a real gift for words, and she has written a poem just for this occasion. So, Eileen, would you come up here and read?
Trudy didn't give me too much time, so it's not too long, and I didn't memorize it. It's great that we have made it. We're happy to be here. To celebrate our 100th, we've come from far and near. We welcome all you Grangers and recall the bygone years, and reminisce nostalgically as we mingle with our peers. Since 1897 and all the time between, the years that we have lived through and the history we've seen. Although we can't dwell in the past, it's nice occasionally to spend some time remembering just how it used to be. Among my childhood memories were grandparents, oh so dear. I'd go with them on Children's Day to recite but once a year. And so I had to speak my best, but it was just a scheme, 'cause waiting on the floor below was my favorite, cake and cream. And before the time of TV, we never missed a meeting. Our chores at home we hurried through, just to grab the better seating. If we were late, we worked our way to pass the secret door. Alone we'd pledge before our friends in the middle of the floor. And all the picnics I remember, covered dishes and burgers galore. We were young and often thought, who could ask for anything more? There was a time of fun for all, amusements for tots and old folks too. Who could do the games the fastest, or just sit there and coo? Grange was not all fun and games, but helping others through their planting and their harvesting as no one else could do. And heaven forbid a barn should burn. The victim thought all was lost, until fellow Grangers helped him with nary a penny of cost. The ladies fed the workers so they could keep on going until the ashes were cleaned up and the farm could keep on growing. We have many departed members with a choice spot all their own to hold their 100th anniversary in the shadow of God's throne. May the next 100 years be fruitful and our thoughts be positive, that we keep on pushing Grange work for as long as we might live. That we keep on pushing Grange work for as long as we might live.
Thank you, Eileen. That was really great. Now we've got a song, that Good Grange Spirit. Maybe everybody's tired of sitting, so we'll... He's the one that can see and remember the most names without glasses. So you borrow your glasses, so we're going to get even more.
Yeah, you get the lights, please.
Let me get the door.
The door. Something happened to our screen. Bear with us a minute. We'll be back. Perimeter painting, hung in the Grange Hall for years. I guess it's in the Stewartsville Municipal Building now. There was always Memorial Day parade, starting back in horse and buggy time. This was apparently in the early 1930s. Same horses, downtown Stewartsville. The floats generally had a patriotic vein. This was the Oddfellows float. questions now. Can anybody identify any of those people? Floyd Hamlin, Zimmerman, Marion Fry. Anybody know any of the rest? Here? Harry on the right, Bob?
Is that Howard Hamlin on the left?
How about Wilbur Drum there? Is that better? I don't recognize any of the people. Anybody else? Junior Grange, maybe. Stewartsville, float. It is Junior Grange. Who is the lady?
Ruth Wolf in the center. And the Cypher.
Smith?
No, Ruth Wolf.
Here.
No, in the middle.
In the middle, there. Sadie Bowie. Anybody else?
Nettie Thompson, Leona
one?
Overly.
Which one?
Nettie Thompson's there in the front, I think.
Here?
Yeah. Kind of far away, but I think I can see her.
Anybody recognize any of these?
That's where you got the bandit from.
Now. This is a big function in Stewartsville Grange Hall.
That was the 15th anniversary of the reorganization.
Looks like they might have had a fire at one time whenever the smokestack went in there.
And we have everybody's name. We have that photograph back there, and everybody's numbered, and their names are on it, on the back. So if you need to look at it, it's back in the corner.
I, of course, can identify my own parents. And there's a big picture back there, so you're welcome to look back. Here's the 20th anniversary of past Minister's Night in 1939.
There's Doris Ray.
Doris, you recognize anybody? Some of my earliest memories of Grange are playing out in the ante room with some of the rest of these people. And it occurs to me now that perhaps the reason they started the Junior Grange was... Is this of any significance, Joe?
Yes, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Yeah, but I know what it is.
No. As best they could, they tried to pick up truck. There are some other pictures of this back there on the back table. Busy day. Sad day. But yeah, but they did survive. They're serving lunch. Donald Hawk, Lori Wiley, Francis, Esther, my mother's ear, my bride, and Ruth Hayes. Serving lunch of typical Grange hamburgers.
Which it's not. We would let you see where Stewartsville Grange came from, and we would show you where Stewartsville Grange history lies. Stewartsville is very proud to be one of the co-sponsors of the South Florida Junior Grange, and we sort of put together a skit. Hopefully it'll come off real well for you. It's the first time we've been in Broadway. We haven't been on Broadway yet, but we're in Broadway. So if you'll bear with us, we'd like to give you a song. It's a Tom Chapin song. It's called We're a Family, the Family Tree. And Stephen's going to accompany us on guitar. and all of our South Farm Junior Grange members will be really happy to perform this for you. So, is everybody ready?
Before the days of Jello, with prehistoric fellow, he loved the maid and courted her beneath the banyan tree. And they had lots of children. Their children all had children. They kept on having children until one of them had me. We're a family and we're a tree. Our roots go deep down in history. From my great-great-granddaddy reaching up to me. We're a green and growing family tree. My grandpa came from Russia. My grandma came from Prussia. They met in Nova Scotia, had my dad in Tennessee. And they moved to Yokohama, where Daddy met my mama. Her dad's from Alabama, and her mom's part Cherokee. We're a family and we're a tree. Our roots go deep down in history. From my great-great-granddaddy reaching up to me. We're a green and growing family tree. One fine day I may go to Tierra del Fuego. Perhaps I'll meet my wife there and we'll move to Timbuktu. And our kids will be bilingual, and though she may stay single, she could of course commingle with the king of Kathmandu. We're a family and we're a tree. Our roots go deep down in history. From my great-great-granddaddy reaching up to me. We're a green and growing family tree. The folks in Madagascar aren't the same as in Alaska. They got different moods and different foods and different colored skin. You may have a different name, but underneath we're much the same. You're probably my cousin, and the whole world is our king. We're a family and we're a tree. Our roots go deep down in history. From my great-great-grandmother reaching up to me. We're a green and growing family tree. We're a green and growing family.
So they're back from 100 years ago. Tammy Overly Stewart, Tammy Fry, Treasurer Sheila Overly, there she is. Secretary Peggy Overly, back. Gatekeeper Weston Voorhees, Series Laney Lori, Laney's probably downstairs. Oh, she is. There she is. Pomona Yvonne Hamlin, she's there. Flora Pearl Christine, there she is. The executive committee, we've got Clifford Overly, Kenneth Hoser, Cindy Bowman, Ed Merritt, and financial secretary Raymond and Bessie Sinclair. Okay, so those are our officers. Bob's going to, our chaplain is going to lead us in a prayer, and then we're going to sing God Be With You Till We Meet Again to close. God Be With You Till We Meet Again was written in Carpentersville by Mr. Schumer, and so it's a real local kind of a hymn. Bob?
Please bow your heads. Almighty Father, maker of heaven and earth, we thank you for the opportunity of meeting here this day in celebration of the century of this glorious cause. We pray as the Bible has taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Amen.
you all for coming, and be sure to come have refreshments downstairs, and be sure to fill out your predictions for the year 2019. And those of you who have not signed our big week napkin back there, please sign that. And we need 3 people for a picture because I understand the Express is here to take pictures. So Roy Dowling, Francis Overly, and myself. We're going to have a picture for the paper. Okay? So, thank you, Roy and Francis.